from 30 feet away. Damn. What's that say about our hygiene? What you got there in that pack?
What pack?
You got a gun. Oh, shit, it ain't loaded. No, they never are. Ain't that right, old man? Open the pack and tip it out on the road nice and slow.
Can't do that.
Take off the fucking pack and put it on the ground. Or die! Are you listening to me?
I am now.
Good.
You listening to me?
Yeah?
Good. Put that hand on me again, you won't get it back.
You believe this fucking guy? All right, we're gonna do it the hard way. Why'd you do that? You just turned my hand off. What are you standing around for? Kiss him! What'd he say?
He's in shock. I think he meant kill him.
Shalom, shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh, the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahushai be the name for his only begotten Son, whoever they calls God, and Jesus Christ. I give double honor to the elders and the apostles of great millstone, atop of his truth and will. Salutations to you, hopeful life, person in his truth, and all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh comes from the lesson of spirit power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushai. This lesson is going to be a lesson in the spirit. Going into the topic of having faith and walking by faith and not by sight. So I'm going to open this video or the lesson going into 2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith, not by sight. All right, this is something that you have to learn to apply within your daily lives as far as when you grow within this ministry and this truth, and you get saved and you become reborn within this truth, become baptized by the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You got to learn how to operate that spirit, okay? And the spirit, basically functions off of faith, and you have to be able to apply that faith to things that happen in your daily lives and how you walk and you interact and all of the decisions that you make. So the lesson kind of going to be going into it a little bit, just kind of breaking down this precept, having faith in your whole walk, because a lot of people that are believers of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai or have a sincere faith and, the higher power, they may have the zeal of the Most High, they know he exists, they may not know the name, but a lot of people are lacking when it comes to applying that faith to your walk, so we're going to it a little bit here, man. Let's see where we're going to start here. This is Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. Okay, so you could feel in your heart on what could be the best decision for you to make. But ultimately, the Lord directeth his steps. Okay, if you're a true believer and the Lord is dealing with you, he's going to direct your steps in the right way to make the right decisions. But it's in everybody to have a man's heart deviseth his own way. Well, what does the scripture say about the heart? Well, let's get that. This is Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Okay, so you may think just because you're making the right decision based off decisions that comes from the heart. You're like, well, what do I feel in my heart that this is the right thing to do? Versus trusting in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to guide you in the right steps. Okay, because whatever decision that you're going to make, the scriptures tell you the righteous way of how that situation should be played out or that decision should be made. For example, for the men out there, you may be dealing with a woman, okay? And the scriptures talk about how you're supposed to deal with that woman in a certain specific order of how she's supposed to treat you. Now, if she's exemplifying signs that this woman is wicked, this woman might be adulterous, this woman might be a harlot, such as, for one thing, the scriptures talk about how a woman's supposed to be sober. But if this woman is high all the damn time and drunk, well, that's a warning flag number one. Okay? But you sit there and your heart wants to try to tell you, oh, well, I can turn this motherfucker around. I can turn this woman around. I can convince her to stop doing that and then serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But you have to remember, what spirit has she already accepted in her heart when you first met this individual? She was already doing the shit. In that case, in that situation, this woman might have already known the truth, or a little bit already. But yet she's committing those type of sins. Another example, let's say this woman is dressing promiscuous. She's out there wearing the yoga pants or ripped up jeans. She's wearing dresses that fly in the wind that come all the way up halfway up to her titties. Got her whole body exposed, man. Well, the scriptures give an order that a woman's supposed to be dressed in modest apparel. Now, the heart could deceive you to thinking that maybe you can change this person around. I'll read this precept again. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Okay? That's where Satan can come in and deceive you. You have to go by the Spirit. Spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? It says, a man's heart deviseth his way. So you deviseth, where we can kind of see what that says here as far as the definition goes. Third person, singular, simple, present, indicative form of device. Okay. To invent, to contrive, form in the mind, new combination of ideas. Okay. Strike out by thought. Deviseth, okay. So you're creating a thought or idea. That's what that's talking about. A man's heart basically creates ideas, because that word heart really goes into the mind, the brain. Okay, so your mind is going to come up with all ways on doing things as far as how you feel they should be done. But everything has to be done on how the Lord feels it's supposed to be done. Which is why the next part says, but Yahweh directed his steps. Okay, so applying faith in your walk, you have to really be in a spiritual mentality of what that opening scene was, the book of Eli. Okay, for this guy in the scene, he represents the hopeful elect during the time of Jacob's trouble. Now in the movie, you don't realize it, but during the entire time, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie, you need to go watch it ASAP. But spoiler alert, when you watch this movie, the whole movie, you don't even notice or realize this guy was completely blind the whole time. And he was carrying the scriptures with him, and he was reading the scriptures, but he was actually reading it in Braille. Now, all the action you've seen in the opening part that was played, he did all that blind. Okay? So you're going to have to, in this walk of life, you have to walk in that blindness, that spiritual blindness when it comes to, interacting within the world and just walking by listening to the instructions. It's like, when you're driving and you may have that voice guidance system on for your navigation in your car. That voice guidance system is the Lord. So when you're in this walk, you kind of have to empty your brain, your mind, and accept everything that's going to come to pass as far as the Lord talking to you on a decision that has to be made. All right, so right now we're in the spring. I'll give you another good example. We're in the springtime, okay? You may be making plans to go somewhere tomorrow, and you didn't realize that tomorrow, all of a sudden, you're supposed to be meeting with somebody, and might be hanging out or working out or whatever. But all of a sudden tomorrow, you look at the forecast and it's supposed to be 50% or 60% chance of rain, when initially you planned it out to be a perfect clear day. So then all of a sudden it's raining tomorrow when you had already prepared or planned on it being cleared out. And then the person you're supposed to meet comes down sick, possibly might have the corona. So your mind, your brain, all those ways we can work around it. That person probably doesn't have the corona. It could just be a regular common cold. Oh, it's going to rain tomorrow. Well, what time does it rain? So now you're thinking of all these kind of ways to make shit more difficult when the Lord is already set in stone, give you a sign. You ain't supposed to go nowhere, damn it, tomorrow. That's when the faith should be kicking in, and you should be listening to the Spirit. Okay, too many of us are making the mistakes of wanting to do things as far as how our mind works. And no, man, you got to go by the Spirit. If the Spirit is revealing to you that you got a wicked individual in your life and they're doing everything the scriptures warn you about, hey, this is what this person is doing, boom, 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 boom. They're doing everything according to the scriptures is what's perceived as being a wicked woman or a wicked individual. And you got to go by the Spirit to get that person out of your life, man, and make the right steps. Okay? You got to be willing to swing that sword in the midst of all darkness and having faith that the Lord is going to guide that swing for that sword to defend yourself and kill the enemy, even when you may not be able to see how you're going to accomplish that. Let the Lord direct your steps. Okay? Let the Lord direct your steps. This is Job 33, verse 14. For Yahweh speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth not. So giving those examples, you may be driving somewhere and you're supposed to be going to a location, and all of a sudden you get caught up in a big, gigantic accident and you're backed up in traffic, man. Now you can devise your own way and try to get around to still go get to that location, but the Lord already gave you a spiritual sign. You've already spoke once by causing that traffic to come about. Hey, you're not supposed to be going there that day. You're not supposed to be taking that trip out of town. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed. So the Lord is giving you a description of one time he does speak to his men, his people. He speaks to them in dreams and visions. So you may have a vision about a certain specific situation, that how you need to walk within that situation. If you need to walk away from it or pursue it or whatever, the Lord's going to give you that vision in the night. That's the way he talks to us, man. He doesn't just float down here or you just randomly hear his voice screaming to you. That'll be very, very rare. It has happened, but for the most case, the way the Lord talks is he talks by the operations that he controls in society. And you got to be able to pay attention to those spiritual signs to pick up on it. Romans 10 and 17 says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. Okay, so you have all these people that talk about they have faith, but how does the faith come? It comes by hearing the words of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. A lot of people say they have faith in God, but they don't have faith in the Bible. But you really don't have no faith, because in order to have faith, you have to hear the words of the Lord. And it has to be broken down to you the right and correct way. Okay? So a lot of people are, you got to learn how to walk by faith and not by sight, man. It's in Psalms 119, verse 133. Order my steps in thy word, and let not any iniquity have dominion over me, man. That's a powerful precept. Order the steps. So the steps, the actions that you take, they have to be prayed about, and you have to ask the Lord for guidance. Okay? So he can order those steps. But he might want to order you to let that job go. Order you to take another step. And let not any iniquity have dominion over thee. So don't worry about what you did in your past life, man, and beat yourself down that you worse of a man, lesser of a man. No, it's not the case, man. So deliver me from the oppression of man, so will I keep thy precepts. Make thy face shine upon the servant, and teach me thy statutes. Rivers of water run down mine eyes, because they keep not the law. All right, so you want to do the right thing, and when you're doing the right thing, it'll break your heart to where you see somebody not keeping the law. But ultimately, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, so you still got to take that experience and still serve the Lord the right way. You know? But that's basically it, man. Just kind of going into it. Walking by faith and not by sight. Too many people are walking and having faith in the wrong source. And the right source is the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Everybody's out of work right now, man. Some people are working from home, and it may not be as prosperous as if it was when it was a vacation area. Now's the time to stick together, man. You gotta have faith. You gotta learn how to apply that faith. You know, because too many people have faith, but they're not really applying it the right way. And you're not encouraging brothers to have faith. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, the brothers, the elders, the apostles, the great millstone, on top of the truth and will. Salutations to you, hopeful like, truth, and all honesty and sincerity. Shalom.